Coast to Coast Radio presents the Buffalo Wild Wings Monday Night Football Show. Hi, I'm your host, Ron Fitch. We're here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Linden. And today we're going to talk a little NFC East football. We're going to talk around the league with Robert Page. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles with Jake, the voice. But first, if there's any, I'm just going to do a fan segment. If there's any fans who want to express their love for their team, they could come on up right now. Is there any fans that want to talk about their team? I know there's Cowboy fans here, and there's, here comes here comes a Cowboys fan. Oh, boy. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. We are them boys. Dallas Cowboys for life.
Okay. You liked what happened yesterday?
Of course. That was a remarkable win. I understand people probably ain't expect us to do as well as we did against Cincinnati, but we showed up and we showed out.
Now, you like Dak Prescott so far? Do you want to keep him playing instead of Romo?
Yes, I don't want Romo to come back and break the chemistry. We're gelling. I think we should just go with the flow and ride the wave.
Yeah, but you got some tough games coming up, man. At Baltimore, Cincinnati, the New York Giants, who I think that you're going to, and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a big game. What do you think about the New York Giants first?
Well, first, I already said the Giants were suspect. No way should they have beat us by 1 point. We beat ourselves. So that was a fluke. They've been exposed, and I think they're going to just.
I think the Giants can make a run. I think that when you go to MetLife Stadium, that's going to be a tough game. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't just sleep on the Giants. They haven't been playing good, but they have too much talent to just be messing up like they're doing.
Well, talent-wise, yes, but they're not playing up to their capability. Beckham has been unheard of. Mm-hmm. 1 TD within 5 weeks. Come on now, really.
Well, you know what? Eli has to play better. Now, what's your opinion of the Philadelphia Eagles, our producer Robert Page's team?
I like the Eagles. They're 2 years ago they were good.
But who's better, the Cowboys or Eagles?
Cowboys, of course.
Why are they better?
We're America's team. I go with Donald Trump. We're great.
Wait. We're gonna break this up here now. Hold on. We got Robert Page. We got Robert Page here. He's about to break this down.
This guy, this Dallas fan here, please. America's team, that's old. That's old. That's very old right now.
But who's a better team right now?
Who's a better team right now? They're both on the same level. I'm going to talk real football. They're both on the same level. But when it comes down to the home and home, I think they're going to split.
Okay.
The big thing is who's going to have the home field advantage in the playoffs will be the team that will advance.
Is Dallas going to win the division?
I believe we have an awesome chance of, a great chance of winning the division. We do have one loss. We still have a veteran quarterback in the stable who was waiting to play.
Oh, my God. We want him to play. He's got an apple in his throat. He's going to choke.
Now, hold on, Robert. Now, as of 2016, is the Dallas Cowboys America's team?
Yes, and we are a better team. We're a better team. We're a stronger team. And, of course, we have some Super Bowl wins.
And now this young man calls this place his house because he comes here on Sundays to watch the Cowboys. So, Robert, he kind of threw it down. He said the Dallas Cowboys are still America's team.
They're far from that.
Why are they far from it?
Because they can't do things right, man. Jerry Jones needs to stay upstairs and stop coming down on the field, interfering with his coaching staff. It's going to happen. As soon as they start getting a string of wins together, here he come. Here he come.
I saw him yesterday cheering.
Yeah, look where he was at. If he stays up there, Dallas got a good chance.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think about the Dallas Eagle game coming up in Dallas?
I believe we are going to win. We need to win. We need to prove that we rule the NFC East.
Okay, he says he rules the NFC East. That means that Philadelphia got to fall back.
No, we're not falling back.
Okay.
We're not falling back. We got a young team with a lot of talent, ton of talent, great defense, just like Dallas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a showdown. It's going to be a good game. And it's a Sunday night game.
And in 3 weeks.
And I think we're going to have a show here that night.
We're going to do a special Sunday night show here. So since it's your house, you got to come. Because he'll be here. He's going to be looking for you.
Yes, indeed, I will.
Okay.
If you don't come, we're going to hunt you down.
Yeah, Philly has a group of guys playing their young team, and I'm not taking nothing from them, but Dallas for life, and I believe we're going to win.
Well, on that note, we'll be back with Jake the Voice to talk about these Philadelphia Eagles.
The King Third Annual Celebrity Hoop Challenge basketball game is coming to the Westchester County Center October 29th. See former NBA greats John Starks, Allen Houston, Jerome J.Y.D. Williams, Felipe Lopez, Eton Thomas, Nate Tiny Archibald, NBA analyst Chris Broussard, the WNBA's Swin Cat, and Teresa Weatherspoon, actor Michael Rappaport, Love and Hip Hop Cisco, 105.1's DJ Clue, and M-Easy. Win prizes. See the halftime dunk contest. Doors open at 1 p.m. Get your tickets now. Come to the King Celebrity Hoop Challenge, and you'll see stars.
Like a Philadelphia cheesesteak, he's as good, and he's all Philadelphia. We're here with Jake the Voice. Jake, how in the world did the Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Detroit Lions?
It's hard to say, Ron. I mean, I didn't unfortunately get a chance to see any of the game yesterday due to work relations, but I did get a chance to see a few highlights, and from what I saw, it just seemed like the defense looked like a real big concern. And the secondary, again, as I've mentioned in the past, has been a huge concern. Jim Schwartz is doing everything in his power to try to get this defense back on track. It was like a homecoming for him, and it was mentioned in the Philadelphia Inquirer all week long as the Inquirer was doing a preview on the roots of Jim Schwartz because he had some glorious years as the head coach of the Lions. So it was kind of like a homecoming for him, and it just wasn't really what he wanted, I guess the way he wanted it to end. I do give them a lot of credit in the second half. The first half, it looked like Detroit could just do anything they wanted. In fact, when I was listening to the voice of the Eagles, the 40-year vet Merrill Reese.
Oh, that's my guy. I love him.
Who mentioned that it just seemed like everybody was underestimating Detroit. Everybody just seemed to think that Detroit is a lot better than
I had a feeling Detroit was going to win this game because I knew that Detroit was a good team that kept messing up toward the end of each game that they lost, and Matthew Stafford is on a roll this year, and he played well. Now, you've watched the Eagle games all year. Have they struggled with running backs out of the backfield? Because Theo Riddick, who's from New Jersey, played at Immaculata High School, went to Notre Dame. He had 2 touchdowns out of the backfield. Seemed like they struggled with that. Is that like a recurring issue for Philadelphia's defense?
Well, he played really well yesterday, Ron. I thought that it was probably one of his best games all season, and Detroit was due for a win, and that was a much-needed win against a very good football team. Once again, I have to credit Carson Wentz. It just seems like he's getting better each and every week. There were some controversies near the end of the game that I was not thrilled with, along with the interception that went through. It took him about 130-plus passes before he finally threw his first interception. I think that Carson Wentz has learned from his mistakes, and I think that Philadelphia can move forward and get ready for a big NFC showdown that we have in Washington. I know a lot of our fans are very upset, as they usually get after a tough loss. That's usually the response that a lot of fans get. My dad was not happy about the game yesterday, as expected. Most of my friends were not happy about the game. I know Rob, certainly, I expect him to not be happy because, let's be honest, anybody that's a true Eagles fan like myself and everybody else that I know certainly showed a little bit of displeasure in this game.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I liked and what I didn't like out of the Eagles. What I liked is the fight that you had. You're on the road. Nothing was going right. You're down 21-7. You come all the way back, take the lead. What I didn't like was after the fumble and they got a field goal to take the lead, I didn't like the play calling. With 1:27 left, you didn't have to throw a long bomb. I believe you had a timeout left. You had plenty of time. The way as smart as Carson Wentz is, you could have dinked and dunked your way down the field to set up a field goal and win the game instead of trying to go for it all. And Detroit he double covered the receiver. So obviously they knew what was coming. I just felt like you could have been a little more patient. That's not on Wentz. That's on the coordinator on that one. That's what I didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Reich, like we said when we first started Coast to Coast Radio, we mentioned that this is a very young group of coordinators, from Jim Schwartz to Frank Reich, who, again, has been known as the comeback kid. He knows a thing or two about comebacks. I mean, we still remember going back to the days of with Buffalo when he was part of that comeback. in the 41-38 win over the then Houston Oilers. So I think Frank probably wanted to maybe see if they could test out Carson's arm, maybe give him an opportunity. Unfortunately, I feel like that opportunity had backfired. He will certainly need a lot of that, like I said, with the Washington game. But Detroit is a lot better of a team than I really thought they were. They did. And, I mean, as we talked about last week, Calvin Johnson is a huge blow for them. Anquan Bolden has been a big addition for them coming over from, I want to say, I don't know where he's, I think San Francisco, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then they have another good receiver.
Marvin Jones.
Golden Tate. They have three very good receivers. Jim Caldwell, I think, does a very good job with that program. I think the Lions needed that win, and I think they can move forward from this win.
Speaking of teams who are hot, I think the Eagles are kind of going to Washington at the wrong time. Kirk Cousins is hot. There was a guy named Dave Craig. He reminds me of a player that played for Seattle where he was hot, he was cold. You didn't know what Kirk Cousins you were going to get. Right now you're getting the hot Kirk Cousins. Washington's playing better, but there is one injury issue that could really help the Eagles. You could tell.
Yeah, that would be D'Angelo Hall. Has tore his ACL, I believe, about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And he is out for the rest of the season. Josh Norman was injured yesterday as well in their win over Baltimore. And there's, I think I heard it's a day-to-day process, but you just never know how healthy, if Josh could be 100%. I think that works in Philadelphia's advantage. I think that Philadelphia will need to throw against a guy like Josh Norman, but never count out their offense, because this is like a homecoming for an ex-Eagle. I think we know very well.
Deshaun Jackson.
Yes.
And if he scores, he's going to rub it in.
And he is electric. And I've seen him do this many, many times. He's probably one of the most high-powered wide receivers in all of football. I think that the run game is very good. I think that Jay Gruden does a phenomenal job as a coach. I think that he has found a new home in the nation's capital. But the thing that I love the most about this rivalry is the fact that it is a rivalry. We go back probably...
That's DC, Philadelphia.
I mean, we go back at least 50 years. I mean, I remember as a kid growing up, I was watching the body bag game with my dad.
Oh, yeah, and the Redskins paid you back in the playoffs. You guys made fun of them, and then when the playoffs came, you ended up beating them, and that cost Buddy Ryan his job.
Well, and the other thing I remember most is the Hogs.
Yep.
With the Joe Gibbs.
You know what was fascinating? The Eagles own the Giants. The Giants own the Redskins, and the Redskins own the Eagles. It was the weirdest setup back in the 80s and 90s. It was fascinating. Finally, before I let you go, I would like to see the Eagles draft a running back, because you have Nick Chubb from Georgia, you have Dalvin Cook from Florida State, but there's one other guy that you might know. He goes by the name of Shaq from Penn State.
I
believe his name is Shaq Barkley from Penn State.
Okay.
Running back, really good. Rated one of the better running backs in the country.
Yeah, it would be nice.
And that might be a steal.
It would be nice to get a running back. I will say that I really do like this run game with Ryan Matthews and Sproles. And
I love Sproles.
It'll be very interesting. Like I said, again, you can't just blame Ryan Matthews on this loss yesterday.
But you know what? I'm going to add something else. I think you could use another you got good receivers. There's a guy by the name of Mike Williams who plays at Clemson.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And you plug him in and you give Carson Wentz that type of player and add a running back to go along with Matthews and Sproles. Now you have something. Now you have a high-powered offense. Now I think you're a player or two away from really being good for years and years and years to come. You're there now, but I just want to see a little more playmaking out of your running back and receiver.
For what it's worth, we're 3-1.
Oh yeah,
it's probably the most. It's probably.
Oh, you should be excited.
I think the city of Philadelphia is not only excited, but I think we're very surprised. Nobody really expected us to really come on and play as well as we've played. I mean, I'm still getting over the game against Pittsburgh, where we beat probably one of the best premier quarterbacks in football, and Ben Roethlisberger. We're playing another very good quarterback. Not just this week, but the following week, I believe.
It's Minnesota.
We have to face our old quarterback, Sam Bradford, who has also done really well, and the Purple Rain defense. So, like I said, we got to take this one game at a time. I'm hoping that we'll win. If we don't, I mean, it's no harm, no foul. We have a great rivalry with the good people in the nation's capital. I'm really looking forward to that game, and I'm hoping I actually will get a chance to finally sit down and watch at least one game.
Jake, thanks a lot.
Ron, my pleasure. Always good to see you.
Thank you. We are here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Linden, New Jersey, and I'm here with the manager. I'm going to call you Michael B because I just like that name. Let's talk a little food. I want to give out the information that you have weekly for your specials, which I always like. Monday from 7 to closing, you have $16.99 all-you-can-eat wings, which I love. I've taken advantage of that before. On Tuesday, you have half-price traditional wings all day, which I'm going to take advantage of tomorrow, and 3 liters, 3 margaritas.
$3 LITs and $3 margaritas.
Oh, $3 LITs and $3 margaritas. I'm a Steeler fan, and they had got me a little mad. I thought I was going to take you up on that one. Wednesday, we have 2 pints from
$2 pints from 7 p.m. to close. We have 40 beers on tap.
Oh, okay. And if you're coming from a hard day's work, that's a good place to go, right?
And you can get anything from Leinenkugels to Guinness.
Now, you explain Thursday. I'll tell them the wings. You tell them the drinks. Thursday, there's 70-cent boneless wings, which I get about 20 of them because you can get them, and they're really good. They're tasty. They come out fresh. Okay.
Well, we cook all our wings fresh to order, so nothing is waiting for you to walk in the door.
Nothing, because I've gotten wings to go, and they're just as good, which is beautiful.
And then we do the $3 LITs and $3 margaritas.
And I want to talk about the menu that you don't have as far as chicken, but you also have burgers. I like the traditional burger, but there's a lot of other burgers. Explain to the audience about that.
We have a Jack Daddy burger that has onion rings and barbecue sauce and pulled pork on it. We have a nacho burger that's got nacho chips and pepper jack cheese and fresh made pico de gallo. We have a turkey burger with bacon on it.
Oh, man.
So we're doing them all now on a fresh brioche roll that's very, very nice.
And that's the difference. I think your burgers are as good as any of the regular burger restaurants who specialize in burgers, and you might not be known for that, but it's just as good.
Yes, very good.
Now, I like the grilled chicken salad personally, but you have other salads too.
Yeah, we have a grilled chicken Caesar salad. We have a chicken Mediterranean salad, which has cucumbers and tomatoes and onions on it.
Oh, that's so good. Now, finally, we talked about all the food and the drinks and everything. As far as football, you look at all the fans. Who are the loudest fan base when they come in here on Sunday?
It depends upon what time the game is. We get a good pulling for Jets fans.
Okay.
A good draw for Dallas,
Yeah.
the Giants, and Washington.
Wow.
Those are big teams in this area.
And this place is packed on Sundays, so you want to come here in Linden on Sundays. You get all the games, you get all the food, and they serve it to you on time because there's some places where you watch the game, you have to wait till the game is almost over. You finally get your food. Not here. So if you want good food and good service, you want to come here to the Linden Buffalo Wild Wings. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay.
The King 3rd Annual Celebrity Hoop Challenge basketball game is coming. Coming to the Westchester County Center. October 29th. See former NBA greats John Starks, Allen Houston, Jerome J.Y.D. Williams, Felipe Lopez, Eton Thomas, Nate Tiny Archibald, NBA analyst Chris Broussard, the WNBA's Swin Cat, and Teresa Weatherspoon, actor Michael Rappaport, Love and Hip Hop Cisco, 105.1's DJ Clue, and M-Easy. Win prizes. See the halftime dunk contest. Doors open at 1 p.m. Get your tickets now. Come to the King Celebrity Hoop Challenge, and you'll see stars.
We're back here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Linden, the Buffalo Wild Wings Monday Night Football Show. And today we have Robert Page, and today you are going to be a college professor. You are giving out grades today. I want to start with New England. I'm giving New England an A+ because I love how Brady came in with 406 yards and 3 touchdowns, and their usual discipline self. New England took care of business, beating up on the Cleveland Browns, and I got them at an A+.
Yes, definitely an A+. They're my AFC team to go to the Super Bowl. I would definitely agree with that.
I have two B+ teams, two teams that are good but have certain weaknesses that bring them just a notch or two down from New England. First is Pittsburgh. They got beat up by the Eagles. They've played good since. I still, as a Steelers fan, I still see things that they really better work on. Denver, which I had up here with New England, I had them over New England, but because of their injury to Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch is not experienced. They're a little vulnerable because their running game is good but not great, and I got to bring them down to a B+ level.
I'll give Denver a B.
Oh, give them a B, okay.
Yep, definitely Pittsburgh a B+. They've really stepped up and come back since the Eagles lost.
That helped them. That Eagles loss helped them.
They look really, really good now. Whether they can maintain that, barring injury, yes, I can see them being in the AFC Championship game against New England.
I'm gonna tell you a team I'm giving a B, and that's the Oakland Raiders.
Definitely, that's my AFC team for a long time.
Okay.
I'm happy with the way they're playing right now.
Derek Carr, serious.
They look real. They look real. But when you get into week 9 and 10,
that's why I only gave them a B.
When you really find out who's who.
Now I want to give Buffalo a C+ because they rose from the dead and beat the Cardinals. They beat New England without Brady, but then they went to L.A., which is not easy to go from Buffalo to L.A. and won and dominated the Rams. So I do give them a C+. I'm still waiting to see. What grade do you give the Buffalo Bills?
I'll give them a B-.
Oh, okay. I like that.
They're dangerous. Shady McCoy, if he's back the way he was when he was in Philly, they could be a problem. They look like they could be an AFC sleeper.
Okay, I'm going to give Baltimore a C+. They have a 3-2 record. They're still rebuilding. I think that Ozzie Newsome will do a good job of rebuilding. I don't think they're there yet. Flacco's still there, but they're a work in progress. I think they're going to struggle. They're not going to beat the Eagles, and they're not going to beat the Cowboys, and they're not going to beat I think the Giants are going to beat them. So I think there's some losses on their docket.
Yeah, I'll give them a C+ also because of the division that they're in. Pittsburgh will probably beat them twice, which will hurt them drastically because that's a mental game.
And Cincinnati's going to beat them too.
Cincinnati, I think that's a split with them.
Oh, they'll split with them.
Yeah, they'll split with them. But definitely when Pittsburgh beats up on Baltimore, they take a lot of emotions out of Baltimore when they beat them.
Okay, finally, unfortunately, in AFC, before we go to the NFC, the New York Jets. What grade do you give them?
Oh my God, they're a D.
They're a D.
I give them a D. I'm not impressed with what's going on there at all right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Bowles, he's my guy. I mean, he's a Temple grad.
Yeah.
Out of Philly, him and my buddy Kevin Ross, they coached together for a while, and I hate to see what's going on there with him. I hope they can rebound so he can keep his job because the Jets will go through coach. They go through coaches, so I hate to see that happen to him, but hopefully they can pull it through and he'll hang on with his job until he can get some guys in there to turn the whole program around.
Now, I totally agree with you on that. And he had a bad day. He shouldn't have punted. There was a lot of drops.
Right.
There was a lot of things going on. Now, the NFC, I'm going to give you my A+ teams. Minnesota, I give an A+ because of how your guy, Bradford from Philadelphia, is playing. And Atlanta, I'm giving an A+. Whoa, where did that come from?
Nah, I'll give Atlanta an A.
You're going to give them an A?
I'll give Minnesota an A+. It's funny how when somebody leaves from Philly, they end up turning out being good. That's crazy. I mean, the way it looks, Bradford end up in the Super Bowl, and
I know.
Here's an ex-Philly guy.
I'm gonna give Seattle an A+ because you know what it is? It's the culture. Even when guys come and go, as long as you have Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll there, and Pete Carroll's got a great eye from town going back to the USC days. They'll always be stable, and they're back to being Seattle again. Now, I want to give the Dallas Cowboys, yes, America's team, the guy who came up here, talked a lot of stuff about the Cowboys. I'm going to give the Cowboys an A. And then what grade do you give the Dallas Cowboys?
I'll give them an A also.
He gives them an A.
I'll give them an A.
I'm going to give the Green Bay Packers an A-. I like how they're playing, but they're still a little vulnerable. They struggled to close out the Giants when they had outplayed them. I'm going to give the Dallas Cowboys an A-. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles an A-. I believe right now the Dallas Cowboys are a little better than the Philadelphia Eagles because I loved how the Cowboys blew out the Bengals. I loved how the physical downhill running of Elliott. I like that they're a little more of a physical team. Dak Prescott, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, but I give the Cowboys a little bit of an edge. I give the Eagles an A-. I still want to see a little more of a running game and a little more dynamic down the field passing. I just want to see what, and you explain that.
Okay, all right. Right now, Dallas does look a hair bit better than the Eagles do because of their running game. Elliott does look good, but I think what we got to look at is when is Romo coming back? Is he scheduled to come back the week of the Eagles game, or is it beyond
Yeah, but
that?
you know what? I just believe they're going to play Dak Prescott until he starts to struggle, and then use Romo as a relief pitcher.
I just read something that Jerry Jones just said about 30 minutes ago.
Oh, boy.
That this team is Romo's when he comes back.
Oh, boy.
So if that happens.
Okay, if that happens, he goes and plays the Eagles. Those 4 interceptions after Dak Prescott had won.
Yeah.
What's the fan base going to do?
Oh, the fan base. I think his own teammates are going to let down on him.
We'll have about 20 Cowboy fans coming on during the fan segment complaining.
Yes, you will.
Oh, you'll like that, won't you?
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
Well, that's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones can't help himself. He shouldn't even say that because now that just creates controversy amongst the players. I mean,
Now-
let the coaches decide that, make that decision on who should play.
All right, now I want to know who's a better quarterback, Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott? Who's a better quarterback, the Eagles quarterback or the Cowboys quarterback? Because I'm looking
because of the leg speed, Prescott probably has a little bit of an advantage.
Now, I want to tell you, Wentz has 1,007 yards passing, 7 TDs, 1 interception, a 67. He completed 67% of his passes. Dak Prescott's completed 70% of his passes and 1,239 yards passing, 4 TDs and 0 interceptions. And Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott could be the first pair in NFL history, first rookie, where a rookie runs for over 500 yards at this stage of the season, and a quarterback throws for over 1,000. First in history.
They did that the first 4 games. That's the first pair to ever do it, over 400 and 1,000 yards.
Yes,
They're the first pair to do it.
They
do look good. I mean, they have the best line in the league.
I got one question, though, and this is a question about Dallas and the Eagle matchup and how Schwartz will play. I have yet to see Dak Prescott throw the ball down the field and the running game gets stopped. If the running game gets stopped and you got to use a plan B, what happens then? And you have a defensive coordinator that floods the intermediate zones, so now you have to throw down the field. What happens then? That's my question.
Well, that all depends on their receiving core. I mean, Dallas is beat up a little bit right now. I mean,
even with Des Bryant there,
they don't have Des there. So
if he's there and comes back, can he get it down the field? Because that's going to be the key. Because the more he plays, they're going to get a more sample size, and more coordinators are going to start to look and be like, you know what? Let's just give up, dare him to throw deep, and stop the run and see what happens.
That's going to happen this week. Green Bay's going to do that.
Oh, well, Green Bay's the number 1 run defense in the league.
Green Bay's going to do that. They're going to have to go downfield against Green Bay in order to beat Green Bay.
Who's going to win, Green Bay or Dallas?
I got Green Bay winning by 5 or 6.
He's got Green Bay winning by 5 or 6. Now, I'm worried about this Washington Eagle game, man. I think you could be in a little trouble with that. I think the Eagles are a better team, but Washington's on this high right now.
Yeah, going down there to D.C. is going to be tough, but the Eagles play good on the road. I mean,
you know what helps them? The injury to Cousins.
The injury to Cousins.
Yeah, that's a big.
That's going to help too. But I mean, the Eagles play good on the road. I mean, look at this week. We got off to a slow start. They were down by 16, came storming back, had the game in the bag. But, you know, things happen, just like how Dallas lost their first game. So, you know, both teams have lost by 1 point. The Redskins are trailing both teams, but they can be a threat, especially at home.
Well, on that note, we're going to end the show. We'd like to thank Robert Page and Jake DeVoice and all the fans that watched the show and that came on. I'm looking forward to next week. For Buffalo Wild Wings Coast to Coast radio show, Monday Night Football show, I'm Ron Fitch.